The results are finally out. And we have winners and losers in the just concluded by election in this country. Musalia Mudavadi and Moses Wetangula are the biggest winners in the just concluded by election. And William Samoei Ruto and his other party, the United Democratic Alliance Party, are the biggest losers in the just concluded by election. Out of the 7 seats, UDA party only managed to win 1, and with less than 2,000 votes. The by-elections were actually significant, politically speaking, in this country. And in this video today, I want us to look at what next for Musalia Mudavadi and Moses Wetangula after these particular by-elections. But before we do that, if you're watching this video for the first time, please, I want you to take a second or two and click the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And again, for those who are supporting this channel, I want you just to give this video a thumbs up so that it can help YouTube to promote it. Now let us get to business. The by-elections in this country, which has just been concluded, was significant, politically speaking. And the political pundits, like myself and others, and even the political leaders and players, are going to ask themselves 3 major questions from the concluded by-elections, especially the parliamentary by-elections. The first questions they are going to ask is, what are some of the emerging dynamics in Luhya politics? They are going to ask that because nobody had expected that ANC party and Ford Kenya were going to win those seats easily. In fact, the expectations were that UDA party was going to snatch at least 1 of them. I remember ODM party sponsoring David Were at last minute, and I think I even did a video why they were doing that, because initially there were division within ODM party whether to sponsor a candidate or not. I did a comprehensive video on that, you can check. So the first thing they're going to check is the emerging dynamics in Luhya politics. The second question, which the political pundits are going to ask in this country, is the factors that shifted these particular elections. Take, for example, the Kiamakoma by-election, ward by-election in Kisii. What shifted the results that much? UDA party, which was billed to either emerge the winner or number 2, emerged the 6th. Number 6. In Matungu, they were expected, for example, UDA was expected, for example, to emerge, let's say, number 2 or number 1. Again, they were even defeated by the ODM party. So that's the second question. What shifted? What were the variables which shifted this particular election? The third question, and which in my view is the last question, which the political pundits and players are going to ask, is whether the by-elections, the parliamentary by-elections, especially in Matungu and Kabuchai, whether they were about 2022 presidential elections in this country, or whether the one in Kakamega was about the gubernatorial elections in Kakamega. So those questions are going to be asked. And for us to understand some of these things, let us go into the figures, because the results are out. This is how these parties performed. In Matungu constituency, Peter Nabulindo of ANC won with 14,000 votes, which is very good for a by-election. David Were of ODM party emerged number 2 with 10,000, which is a good show, by the way. And then Alex Lanya, who was expected to either win or become runners-up, emerged with 5,000 votes. Let's go to Kabuchai. In Kabuchai, Majimbo Kalasinga of Ford Kenya emerged the winner with 19,000 votes. UDA party, led by Evans Kakai as their candidate, garnered 6,000 votes. Again, the margin is just so wide. If you consider how UDA invested in this particular election and the results, the question is, was it even worth that effort? Now let us go to Kisii. In Kisii, there was a by-election in Kia Mokama ward. In that ward, the ODM candidate won with 1,900 votes. And we had several other candidates, then UDA at number 6 with 491, not even 500,000. Was the investment by UDA in this particular by-election really important? Because remember, I'm giving you those 3 words. Because Tanga or the UDA people wanted to venture into those territories. They wanted to send a statement into these territories. In fact, before the votes were cast in the morning, yesterday, there were a lot of chaos and allegations of voter bribery. And when those images started coming out, you'd even see a member of parliament from Garissa running, being chased in Kisii. And you are like, was it that serious? We go to London Ward, which is in Nakuru County. Again here, UDA candidate won with 1,700 votes. Then Jubilee candidate followed very closely with 1,300 votes. For President Uhuru Kenyatta, I think this is good for him because Jubilee Party is actually gaining ground. Previously, my assumption was that in London Ward, Tanga was going to win easily, UDA Party. But it was sweat. Remember, this is the only ward where the entire UDA brigades, led by Senator former majority leader at the Senate, Kipchumba Murkomen, camped, even on the election day. Then you go to Hell's Gate, again in Naivasha. In Hell's Gate, the Jubilee candidate won with 3,900 votes against UDA candidate who emerged with 2,700 votes. Again, good news to Jubilee Party. Remember previously, they were being beaten left, right, and center by even Moses Kuria's party. So the next election, which we are going to watch very closely, is the Juja by-election. That one is going to pit President Uhuru Kenyatta versus William Samoei Ruto directly. So we are going to wait for that particular by-election. But I'm going to do another video after this, because on this video, I just want to concentrate much on what next for Musalia Mudavadi and Moses Wetangula, what the results actually mean for them. But in my next video, I want to do an analysis on what next for William Samoei Ruto after the humiliating defeat in Luhya Politics. Because William Ruto has invested a lot of his time, resources in Luhya Politics, in Luhya land. But Raila Odinga also lost in Matungu. The question then is, was it necessary for Raila Odinga to sponsor a candidate in Matungu constituency? Because we have the handshake. And again, we had a NASA. This seat was previously held by ANC candidate or ANC guy, the late Justus Murunga, who actually defected to UDA. So was it necessary for ODM to venture into that particular by-election? Those are some of the questions which ODM party will have to answer. And what went wrong? Despite in the last election, ODM party performed dismally in Matungu constituency. But at least Were has tried. So they'll have to go back and ask themselves those 3 questions which I had explained. But what next for Moses Wetangula and Musalia Mudavadi? Number 1, I think from this particular outcome, they can now go ahead and pursue what is called Luhya unity. That's one thing which has been very elusive. It has never been achieved. Luhyas were united, I think, during Masinde Muliro and again during Wamalwa Kijana. After that, they've always been taken advantage of. They've always been divided. Musalia Mudavadi and Moses Wetangula, if they're serious, if they want to pursue Luhya unity, this is the time. I'm saying this because they managed this win because of their unity. Without that unity, I don't think this would have been possible. Let's take, for example, the case of Matungu constituency. Peter Nabulingo contested in the last election on Ford Kenya ticket and still managed number 2, which means he was very popular even at that time. Assuming Ford Kenya then decided to sponsor a candidate in Matungu, what would have been the outcome? Probably the Ford Kenya candidate would have garnered maybe 5,000. That would have allowed the ODM candidate to win. So the mere fact that they united and even campaigned together is enough reason for these guys to go outside there to their people and tell them that a people united can never be divided, and they can achieve much as a united team. Take the Kabuchai by-election. Ford Kenya was facing serious challenge in Kabuchai. By the time the former member of parliament passed on, there were coup attempts in Ford Kenya. So the expectations was that the other factions were going to support a candidate who is not allied to Moses Wasika Wetangula. But despite those challenges, the Ford Kenya candidate still emerged the winner. So which means they can take advantage of these results to pursue the Luhya unity. Number 2, and I want this to reach out to William Ruto and reach out to Raila Odinga. This result in Matungu and in Kabuchai can actually give birth to a serious dream team alliance. In Matungu, a team came up and alliance was actually birthed in those by-elections. There is Moses Wetangula, there is Gideon Moi, there is Kalonzo Musyoka, and Musalia Mudavadi. Those 4 teams. On 18th, Kalonzo Musyoka is also going to do his part in Machakos. I've always opined on this platform that if President Uhuru Kenyatta were to be given a choice, he would not support Raila Odinga and he would not support William Ruto. Their only fear is that if they don't do that, these 2 gentlemen can team up. But from these results, perceptionally, if you add the Luhya united, then Uhuru is performing well in central Kenya and gives those votes to Musalia Mudavadi as a presidential candidate. Then Ukambani, Kalonzo Musyoka agrees to even become the prime minister. Then Gideon Moi can help in funding and even some parts of Rift Valley. Then if it's true they were trying to bring Joho on board, then they bring Joho at the cost. The system can easily deliver victory to this team. So if this team are serious about the presidency, then they can pursue that. Number 3, the results in Matungu and the results in Kabuchai is enough for these guys to wage a war against Raila Odinga in the larger Western Kenya. They can do that if they're serious. Because Raila has now been defeated in Matungu. He couldn't even provide a candidate in Kabuchai. Forget about Ruto. Ruto is now done in Western. Yake meisha. And I'm going to explain in my next video. So they can decide to wage a war now against Raila Odinga. embark on a journey of popularizing their parties. But those parties must be two. They must have Ford Kenya, they must have NC. So that Ford Kenya is sold in areas which are pro Moses Wetangula. And then NC on sides which are pro Musalia Mudavadi. Then they can embark on going outside there to de-campaign Raila Odinga. So I think Raila's influence in Western Kenya can actually be put to task or to question by these gentlemen if they want. But again, they might sleep. And before they knew, number 4, this outcome provides Musalia Mudavadi with the right momentum to kickstart his bid for 2022. If he's serious, he can now go outside there to campaign and brag, because now he has the bragging rights. He can go to coast and brag because he has a bragging right. He can even decide to go to Nairobi and start bragging because now he has a bragging right. It's an opportunity for him, if he decides to use it to kickstart his bid. And lastly, this is now the opportunity for them to also deal ruthlessly with the rebellions within their parties. They have people who are opposed to them, supporting them, elected on their ticket, but are on Tanga. Some are on Raila Odinga's side. It's now the time to deal with them. Ford Kenya, for example, can now deal decisively with the rebels, especially in Bungoma County. I don't know what you think, but that's my take. It is a deserved win for Musalia Mudavadi and for Moses Wetangula. And I want to take this opportunity to congratulate each and every individual who participated in the just concluded elections and won, and even those who didn't win. I want to take this opportunity to congratulate them. But it is sad that the elections were actually barred by violence and voter bribery. As a country, we don't need to go to that direction. Thank you guys, and please, may you have a good day.